Hey everybody, today we are going to do something to get some stuff ready for Halloween. I have one of these LED flame bulbs, actually I have a couple of them, and I have a couple of these Sonof knockoff smart home modules, And what I want to do is mix these together and make a flame bulb that is controllable through the Wi-Fi in the smart home. Now these all come apart pretty easy. That just pops off. There's the power supply down the center. So we'll have to take this apart and get the wires out so we can pull the power supply, the driver for the LEDs out. And then we have the Sonof knockoff that it's one of these. Runs on, what does that run on? EWE link maybe? Or Smart Life? I forget. We'll figure it out. But we're going to open this up to get the board out because I'm pretty sure the board will fit down the center. Now, it might take a little modification. Oh, come on. I know these come apart easy. I don't know why this one's giving me such a hard time. Probably because I'm on camera, of course. There we go. That one was just stuck together a little more than normal. And here we go. Now, unlike the Sonoff modules, these don't have a wire. They just have this double-sided trace to carry 10 amps. So I don't know if that'll really carry up to 10 amps. It might. And the other thing we want to do is I want to see if I have to modify this board at all, because I want it to slide down here. But if you can see, it's essentially the exact width of this aluminum tube. So it looks like, yeah, that won't slide down in there. It looks like this will have to get modified a little bit. So anyway, before we modify this board, let me set that off to the side. First thing we want to do is get this apart so we can get the power supply out. Now, if you've never taken a modern LED light apart, then I'll give you a couple pointers. First one is don't use your Dremel. A lot of folks use a Dremel and they'll cut like a really thin piece off right here so they can pop this off. Don't need to do that. And I will show you why. Once we pop this little button out, this little button just shoved in on the bottom. It's got to get underneath it like that. See? And then it just pops out. Little barbs on the end. And then there's the center wire. And that'll pull through. Now the other wire is just rolled under this. Oh, in fact, you can see it right there. There's the edge. It's the very tip of the wire. So what I figured out how to do, and it's not perfect, but it's pretty good. Let's get a little flathead and just kind of work your way around the outside. And then eventually it just pops right off. Really convenient. And then you'll have to round it a little bit before you shove it back on. And then I have another screwdriver. Well, it used to be a screwdriver, and now it's kind of an awl that I'll use to punch those back in to recrimp it once it's back on. They have a tool that, you fold the wire over, or they fold the wire over. This goes on and crimps it. So that's off. This is off. That's loose. Give it a little shake. And out pops the driver. And there's the driver. Nothing special. Here's the output. And then here is the input. I don't see any fuses. It looks like it goes directly into the bridge. That's fine. So we're going to need to desolder these. And these are marked, which is nice. That makes it way handy for putting it back. Oh. Well, anybody see anything a little confusing here? This is why you shouldn't always pay direct attention to wire color. Most of the time it'll be right, but sometimes it's not. So what we will do is going to label positive and negative, but instead we'll do black and white. Can't read it, but I can read it well enough. And then I want to clean this old solder up a little. You know, this is cheap solder they use. So let's wet it with some fresh solder. And then we'll get my old solder sucker out. All right. Oops, flashlight. And now I'll just put some fresh solder on so it is ready for when the wires are reattached. I like that. All right, so we'll set that out of the way. We'll take a look at this. And those wires are fine. I was thinking about restripping and retinning, but just trim it a little. And then this end, now these are no longer going to be connected to the, directly to this piece. They're going to go to here. So I may trim these, but I'm going to leave the rest of this alone for the moment. And we're going to look at modifying this. All right, so through the magic of TV or video, I have modified the board with a pair of snips. And I also removed the relay because with the relay attached, when you go to slide it down the tube, the relay was bumping into it. So what I want to do, or what I will do, is the relay will be, you know, attached to some wires, and it'll be controlled that way, or it'll be built that way. So when it slides down the tube, the relay doesn't get in the way. And that'll work out just fine. I mean, we're only switching, you know, whatever this draws, which isn't much. And you can see that it does fit. It'll right down there. And then our power supply driver also fits with it. And then the cover will go back on. The cover will go back on if I have this sitting right. Like that. And then, of course, this whole thing. And then we'll have a wireless controllable flame lamp. Now, due to the design, that's the pairing button. I may have to pair this with it apart and then close it up. And that's a little inconvenient if somebody wanted this for themselves, like if I wanted to move it somewhere. So I was thinking about maybe drilling a little hole and mounting the switch here. So we might do that. I'm still thinking about it. What I may do is just disconnect this switch, run a pair of wires, and then drill a little hole and then some epoxy or glue, and then you have a button right there to hit. Might do that, thinking about it. Same thing with the LED. My only other concern is, being that this is an aluminum tube, is it may block the Wi-Fi to the receiver, but I'm going to hope that the opening, the gap between the cap and here, and this open top will allow enough. We'll find out. And if not, then we'll see what we can figure out. We could tack on a little wire for the antenna and run it somewhere. We'll figure it out. We'll see. But for now, let's just get this wired up so that we can put it inside. We want to wire the relay in. And, you know, I've decided I am going to move the button. So we're going to move the button, the relay, and the LED. So let's remove the button first. Get one side up, good. And the other side up a little higher. All right, that side's loose. There we are, now we have the button out. Just clean those pads up a little. So that will go through here, so it'll be sticking out. We can cut that back. And then the LED. Now, being that these have relatively long leads, it makes it easy for me to just desolder by heating it and pulling. Let's see if I can get a good grip. There we are. Perfect. And I'm going to mark this. So that pin went there. Red. Okay. So red has the black. Oh, they actually have it marked. I don't know if you guys can see that. There's a little bit of red paint on there. All right, that's good to know. So we'll set that there, and this there. And these are what we need to put jumper leads on, or wires, so that we can relocate their position. All right, so I have some wires ready. Seems long, but again, to get it to connect, it looks like I'm going to have to go up, over, and in. Obviously, I'll route it in a way that doesn't get in the way, such as probably unsolder these, lay it in there. Yeah, that's what we'll do. Now unsolder these, partially unwrap that, and then we'll put that in. Although if I unwrap that, maybe I should just drill a hole. Okay, let's push all that out of the way, and let's see what happens when we unsolder these. Let's see if it comes apart, or if there's a bunch of sticky stuff in the back. It doesn't feel like it. It feels like it's just wrapped around. All right, there's one. There's two. Still, yep. Well, there might be some sticky. They may have just put some double-sided tape in, which would make sense. All right, so let's see. Okay, yeah. So there's double-sided tape wrapped around this whole thing. It's kind of cool. I have to remember this. Maybe I can make like a, put a whole bunch of them together and just make like a firewall. That'd be neat. I don't think it'll keep the hackers out, but. So anyway, Now I can think about drilling this, and I may do that. Let's see, that'll go in there. If I drill a couple holes, that also might help with Wi-Fi in case this metal gets in the way. And then that we'll get down in there too. Let's see, the hot runs over to there, so I could even trim this a little more, as long as I don't cut that trace. Let's see if that'll let it sit down a little further. Just trying to get it to drop into here a little bit, almost. Let's see if I just get the edge. Yep, we're still connected. Yeah, that sits down as far as I need it to sit. And then that will go in there. So we have to leave enough space for that little nub to get on top. Yep. And then the relay, there's plenty of room for the relay. I like it. This will be good. Let me set that off to the side. Now we can let's get some wires ready. First things first, let's get some wires connected for the power going into this. So I have some hookup wire. Let's see. I'll use that one. You know what? We'll just go right here. And then I don't have to worry if the trace gets broken. Nice. I like that. And then this. There we go. And then that's our hot and neutral. That'll go into the end cap. So they're done. Let's see, size-wise. Let's see, we can go there. So that's hot because it's going through the fuse, and then that'll be neutral. It's a little longer. Normally I wouldn't twist these, but I'm going to just so they don't fall apart while we're working on it. All right, now let's do some wires to the relay. There's the relay's not going to go very far. Now this is just feeding the coil. You know what? I'm just going to do that because it'll happen anyway. This is small wire. It's very thin, but it's only for the coil. So that'll be fine for it. Now this wire actually came from a brushless fan, little DC fan. Sometimes when I scrap projectors, I have so many of a fan that I just cut the wire off and throw it in a box. And then I have a box with a whole bunch of fan wires with different connectors on them that I can use to replace a bad fan or just to use as hookup wire. This wire is expensive, and if you're just messing around and tinkering, you know, spending a pile of money on wire is kind of a drag, really. So I find that harvesting wire out of old devices is handy for this sort of stuff. Now, if I was building something new, yeah, we'd buy some wire, but you know, you figure that into the cost then. All right, so we'll put, let's see, that's going to be negative. That's going to be positive. Not that it really matters. It's going to the relay coil. Oh, and they fell out. Yeah, I'll do one at a time. All right, there's one. Two. All right, I like that. And the line leads to the relay do need to be thicker. Not a ton, because it's only, you know, driving this LED driver. But we're only going to use one because the other side is going to get one of these connected to it. So I'm going to use something a little thicker than I need because I can. We'll use this wire. And then this is the relay end. Just, here we are. You can see it's where the hot's coming up. So that's the line side, I guess you could say. And that won't fit through the hole, so I'll just solder it right to the pad. There we go. Add a little bit more. Just want to make sure it's a good, happy connection. In fact, before I don't see any reason to keep this. No. There's really no reason. Make it a little more narrow. Yeah, I like that. That'll fit in there a lot better. All right. Yeah. So that'll all go to the relay, which should now fit somewhere up there. Now the coil's tied in, so I'm hoping it'll sit something like this maybe. That's good. Man, these wires, these wire cutters are really chewed up. I think it might be time for some new ones. You get a new set of Nipex or Kleins or something. Actually, what's your favorite tool brand? Put it down there in the comments for me. I mostly use, well, you can't really see it on this super well, but WIA brand screwdrivers. I love them. There you go. There's a little bit better view. I love that brand. I don't know much about the rest of their stuff, though. I do have some needle nose made by them, which I like a lot. So, you know, I'll probably stick with WIA, but if you have any brands that you like, let me know and tell me what you like about them, and I'll check them out. I always like to find new tools. All right, so that goes there, that goes there, and then this has to go where the neutral is. So maybe I can tap it on there. Yeah, it's still connected. Get a little bit extra solder on it. Oops. All right. Well, not the prettiest. We'll tape it up, of course, make it all safety-like, and then shove it down the tube. Going to finish peeling that off. I have to make sure we line that back on straight, but let's see how this all does. Oh, my twisted wires got untwisted a little. Alright, so the relay's kind of in the way. Like that. Just get those out of the way, and let's see if that top fits. Oh yeah. Alright, so we definitely have a good fit. Now we just need to make it safe electrically, and then we can put it together. Let's get the meter too and just do a quick electrical check before I put it all together. So let's see. Neutral should take us to here. And then hot should go to the coil N, which it does. And then negative side of the coil. And then positive side of the coil. All right. So electrically, everything's happy. Now let's just protect things so that they don't short out. Some electrical tape, and you know what? Let's use some cardboard. You can use the box. Don't need much. I just want to put something just across the back, just to protect it. Oh, we didn't put the LED wires in. We can't do this yet. Nope, can't do this yet. Almost forgot the LEDs. Alright, that's our LED. Let's just tin it up. And the same thing as the relay. But I'm going to drill a hole in that tube to get those wires through. You know, we'll drill a hole, kind of a big hole, I think. I want to be able to put those wires through. So let's see, that will have to be, yeah, we'll go about that long. I'm wondering if I should shorten all these. Yeah, we'll shorten them. Alright, I got my better cutters. I can't work with these anymore. These I'm going to throw out. And we'll save that little tube for something else. Alright, so that's good. Now let's just tin these. And now this side's green, but I still have my black mark up there, so I know what side's red, and then this is common. So now let's get the other ends ready to be attached to the board. Alright, and then these, I always have a problem remembering. I'm pretty sure these are across. Nope. See, I always get it backwards. So switch is top and bottom. Bap, bap. I always get those mixed up. I don't know why. Like, I know it too, but for whatever reason. I should probably stop drinking drain cleaner for breakfast. Go back to coffee. Alright, let's tin these up. I hope the video quality is good enough on this. I am trying. I'm using my phone instead of my Canon. Canon? Yeah. I usually use this camera with it pointing down, but when I hit pause or when I hit the record button on that Canon, it stops, and then I have to edit all the clips together. With my phone, I can hit pause, and then I can hit record again, and it picks up from where it was paused, which I prefer. But I will say the camera has some features and some convenience that the phone does not. Like, I can turn the screen to see what I'm looking at. It's just because I want to give you guys a nice downward view. That seems to be, I know I enjoy videos that are shot that way. So I'm hoping that this looks good. And if we like it, then I'm going to repurpose one of my older phones. It's not that old. It's like a year and a half old. This is an S10 Plus, and I have an S9 or something around I can use. Anyway, there we go. So those wires are on. That's ready. Let's see. That's ready. This stuff's all finished. So let's attach the wires for the LED. So like it says on the other side, red, common, blue. So it will be this one, and then the black one, and then the other red one. So let's see, can I... There's one. I hope this works. If this works, getting the wires through this way, that'll be pretty cool. And then the blue. All right. I like it. And then the button. The button is only on the top, so we will have to make our connections up there. Let's clean those pads up. And we got to figure out what side we need to use, or if it doesn't matter. Because again, should be switching here to here. So let's make sure these are, yep, and no, nothing. I don't know if that matters, but what we will do is I'm going to strip back one of these a little bit longer, just in case that's carrying a signal across for us. Here we are. All right, there's one and two. Button is connected, bridging across there just in case. LED's connected, relays connected, power supply's connected, AC lines are connected, everything that needs to be connected is connected. The helping hands out of the way. Get that cough out of the way. Now let's see, let's go back to where I paused so that we can add some protection to the back of the board, at least on the 110 area over here. Now granted, I'm sure this isn't UL approved method or even CE approved method. I think it's just a way to make sure that that's okay. Then I'm going to wrap some more electrical tape around the relay just to keep those line and load pins isolated, protected. that. Don't want them hitting or rubbing through and then touching the side of the housing. All right. I'm down with this. Because these will end up going like that. And now I'm going to go drill a hole. Be right back. There we go. Nice, effective hole. I think that will let enough Wi-Fi through. Should have just stripped those once it was in. But that'll let enough Wi-Fi through, and that'll give me enough room to get those wires to come out of. So let's see if we can do that. You get it? That's how that one's going to go. And I'm going to have to trim those tabs off the back so they don't short against the aluminum. And then this will get a little dab of hot snot and holding that there. That'll give us our control. And I just got to stuff this down in there and wrap it back up. So let me get the hot snot gun and we'll go from there. All right. So just waiting for this to warm up, and then we'll glue the button in and glue the LED in. And that's where the driver is going to go. So then we'll wrap the LED panel back around it, this thing, solder it up, and then we'll give it a shot and see what happens. It should work. There's really no reason it shouldn't work. Let's see if that's hot enough. Yep. There's the one. Let's spin this. Want this to go in straight, sideways straight, like that. All right. You know what? We'll put a little bit here so stuff doesn't wobble about. Some behind it. All right, that'll do it. That'll do it. That's plenty. I may have overdone it actually. I mean, it's not going to be obvious from the outside, but we know. That's our pairing button. I'll let that all cool down before I start pushing on it. Let's set that, and then let's get the this piece. I like it. And that wraps it all back up, gets it all together. I like it. Then we just need to reconnect our wires, and for whatever reason black is positive and white is negative. And press the button. That's good. Let's get our top cover. There we are, and that's back on. Like that. All right, so that's neutral. There's actually a little notch right here that they're supposed to use. See, it goes like that. So let's get the end piece. Oh, I remember what I meant to do. That little... There we are. So when you get a little bit of that glue... No, stay. I want to hold that wire down. Yeah, like that. See? And then just push. Don't push on the top because this is thin metal and it'll collapse on itself. Then we'll get that little awl I made just for doing this. Then I just go around and push on these guys, recrimping it essentially. Alright, that's good. And we can push this down. And then we get the little button. Like that. And I just do a little tap. That's it. Let me get a fixture so we can try it. Alright, so I went through and paired it using Smart Life. Now this, I'm actually using the Canon now, since I had to use my phone to pair it. But let's try something. Alexa, turn on Firelight. There we go. So by turning it on and off, you change through the 3 different modes that it has. That's all there is to it, really. That's how you make a Wi-Fi controllable Firelight. And here's the second one I have, which I will be putting together after this video. So if you have any questions, or you want to make one of these yourself, let me know, and I'll be glad to provide some, a drawing if you want to, wiring diagram. But you saw what I did here. You can figure it out and do it how you want. And, try it out. And if you do one, post it. Let me see what you did. And let's see, anything else? Oh, yeah. Let me know about the wire. If you know where to get a reasonably priced hookup wire that's nice. Also, let me know about what kind of tools, what brand of tools you like to use. Stick that down there, please. And, yeah, as always, thank you for watching.